Good afternoon, traders. My name is Tomasz Wiśniewski. I'm a Chief Analyst in Alpari Research and Analysis, and this is Daily Analytical Report, where we will try to look for decent trading occasions. We'll try to look for good trading setups. So, yes, as always, let me start from the macro calendar. Because that is a very interesting week. That is a very busy week in terms of the macro data. We had a lot of events yesterday. We are going to have some events today, and at the end of the week, we will have macro data too. Especially from antipodes like Australia and New Zealand, because overnight we had the interest rate decision from Reserve Bank of Australia. Rates remained unchanged as expected. It didn't trigger any bigger movements on the market. Maybe this decision from Wednesday, tomorrow late evening European time, maybe that will trigger some bigger movements on the market. But as it's our first meeting this week, we have to go through the data from Monday. We got PMIs, and PMIs for Eurozone overall was better than expected. But for example, for Germany, for France, Italy came worse than expectations. Also, we had inflation CPI from Switzerland, which came worse than expected, but it didn't change the situation on American dollar to Swiss franc much. Because there we are still locked in the sideways trend. As for today, we can see this interest rate decision from Australia. Apart from that, we had a speech from Mario Draghi. No news actually, but euro was declining. Also, retail sales from Eurozone, important data. This came better than expected, but failed to lift euro higher. What we are still waiting for today is a speech from Janet Yellen and from Mr. Paulos from Bank of Canada. So definitely interesting. And tomorrow we have non-monetary policy ECB meeting and also trade balance data, import exports from China. It will be overnight, and interest rate decision from New Zealand. On Thursday, we will have jobless claims as always. We will have also trade balance data from Germany, CPI from China. So maybe no tier 1 data, but the calendar will be busy. Reserve Bank of Australia monetary policy statement on Friday, and a pack of data from UK also on Friday. This calendar for this week is not so busy as the last week, but definitely we are going to have interesting data coming on our screens. That being said, let me show you the situation from the technical point of view, because we do have a lot good trading setups, good technical setups. So what we do have here on euro dollar, the main pair on the market, is a head and shoulder pattern, right? We broke the neckline of this head and shoulder pattern here at the end of October. Then we had this flag, which is a trend continuation pattern. Flag aimed the neckline to test it as the closest resistance. which is very common, which is happening very often. And that test was bearish because the price created two shooting stars on H4. And actually, I haven't seen such a good trading setup from the price action point of view for a long time. Here, everything was pointing north. So we had a trend which lower lows and lower highs. We had a breakout of the neckline, so a sell signal from the head and shoulder formation. We had a comeback to this neckline to test it as a resistance. Those tests, two tests, were very bearish because the price created two shooting stars. Then we broke the lower line of the flag, which triggered another sell signal. And here everything was clear. Everything was pointing south. You may say, okay, if you're so sure, did you trade that? Yes, I traded that on my live account. I have two short positions on euro dollar, and both of them are already protected with a break-even point. So the stop loss is on break-even point, so I'm not gonna lose on these positions. I'm only gonna earn, gain money. It depends how much from the further downswing. So that was up. I am waiting for those kinds of setups for a long time, and when they happen, you just cannot hesitate. You just have to enter the market, because here everything was pointing north. Everything was telling us that the price will go down. And the price did go down. So the first potential target is this lower line of this channel down formation. But in the longer term, if we look here, the potential target for me is this orange area. And I think that eventually the price should get there. The chances for that are really high. Usually people try to estimate the potential target for the head and shoulder by measuring the distance between neckline and the top of the head and putting it here. I do not believe in that really, but as you can see, if someone believes in that, yes, this potential target goes here. Why I think so? Because there is a resistance here and here and here. After the breakout, there is a support here, and I think that that is a legitimate support and a potential target for this downswing. If not here, 38.2, I think that 38.2 will be a strong support as well. So maybe they won't get to the orange area, but they still should get here 140 pips lower, right? So euro dollar short signal for a short position. On gold used this ultra important horizontal support here. Again, why the support was there, why it was important? Well, that's a combination of 4 factors actually, even 5. So what we do have here is an uptrend line. That's the first one. We have also a downtrend line here. That's the second one. We have also here 61.8 of this upswing and 38.2 of this upswing. So that's third and fourth. And fifth are those lows, those, and here. So that was like a way wide area of $7, $8, where the price could have a bounce, and the price did bounce from here. What is very important is that we even broke the upper line here, the downtrend line, midterm downtrend line. We broke that, we went to 50% FIBO, and we stopped. So bounce here and breakout here triggers a positive sentiment. But in my opinion, there is no buy signal here yet. Buy signal will be created once we will break 50% Fibonacci, this upper green area. So price getting here will trigger a buy signal, because so far it does not look good. It looks alright, but this bounce here is a bit dangerous. Can create a possibility that this will be a false breakout, and false breakouts usually result in a movement in the opposite direction. So I would prefer to avoid this, and I will avoid that by not opening a position here right now. I think traders should wait for the price to break 50% Fibonacci before opening a position. New Zealand dollar to Singaporean dollar. That is also an excellent trading occasion. That's an exotic pair. We spotted that here. I told that there's a nice selling opportunity and the price went lower. It was hard to chase this drop, but here we do have another occasion to sell. Why we do have this occasion to sell? Well, first of all, there's a downtrend from the end of July, beginning of August. Then the price broke this ultra important horizontal support here, which was relevant in the first half of 2016, and after the breakout in the first few months in June and July of 2016. The first few months of the second half of 2016, that was an important support. So principle is similar as on euro dollar. Broken support becomes a resistance. So we broke the support and now we're aiming this as a resistance. Well, so far the contact is nice here because the price is creating a shooting star. But also look at that. On euro dollar, the price was aiming this level with a flag. Here we are aiming this with a wedge. Wedge is also a trend continuation pattern, like this one. Downswing, wedge, downswing. Wedge, maybe downswing. And look, after the wedge we had a flag. Here we had an also small flag, which will be better visible on H1. As you can see here, that's a nice flag. That's a nice short-term flag. And now we are having a wedge. So bounce here maybe does not trigger a sell signal alone. But bounce here plus breakout of the lower line of the wedge should trigger a sell signal. And that sell signal should be very strong in the long term, because potential target for this is here. And that actually creates a great trading opportunity in terms of risk to reward. Because breakout here, you would have like 80 pips stop loss, and a potential target would be 270 pips. So potential profit would be more than 3 times bigger than a potential loss. That creates a desirable risk to reward ratio, and I'm a fan of this trading setup. We'll see how it will go, but the stop loss here is relatively low. Bitcoin is heading higher. 7,000 we reached even 7,500 $7,500. It's a nice resistance here. Support here. What's that? That's an ascending triangle. Ascending triangle should result with a bullish breakout. So that would be it about Bitcoin. Silver is confusing a little bit. You can see downswing here, upswing here, downswing on Friday, upswing on Monday. I don't like this kind of choppy trading. But well, 16.8 was defended again. This horizontal support, this red horizontal support was defended again. And yes, we do have a positive sentiment on silver, but there is no buy signal here. Worth mentioning are the candles here, because on silver you have a bullish engulfing. On gold, on a daily chart, you also do have a bullish engulfing here. Itself, well, those candlestick patterns can be considered as a strong trading signals. Euro to British pound. I think that this potential after this bounce here, false breakout and a hammer on a daily chart, they wasted that, right? So buyers wasted a chance for a nice upswing, which actually opens a way for a potential reversal. So price here making new midterm lows here should trigger a major sell signal. On the other hand, I would say that breakout of the combination of those two lines, so downtrend line here and uptrend line here, breakout of that cross should trigger us a buy signal. So the sentiment now is neutral, and here price here buy signal, price here sell signal. Australian dollar to American dollar. No bigger movements after the interest rate decision. We had this flag, breakout of the lower line of the flag. Then they tested it as a resistance. So flag is gone. And there's another formation. Another formation emerged on the market because what we have here, okay, let me, I don't know if you can see it. That's a left head, a left shoulder head and right shoulder. And there is a neckline here. Breakout of this lower green line should trigger us a sell signal. And sell signal, and if this support will be broken, the price should aim this purple dynamic support. American dollar to Canadian dollar broke this horizontal support here, very important one, which did not affect the trading much. In reality, the price should decline here to this green dynamic support, but the sentiment is still positive as long as we stay above this line. So that breakout of this horizontal support did not change much. I think it's all good on American dollar to Canadian dollar. Still, it's all good. Oil. That was a good one, and we were anticipating the upswing on oil since somewhere here, $51 per barrel. After this, because we are in a channel up formation and the price was in an ascending triangle pattern, both promoted an upswing. We thought that here we can get a small reversal, and actually we did. The only bearish candle here is present exactly here, because that was a combination of the upper line of the upper line of the channel up formation and a horizontal resistance created by those tops from the end of 2016 and the beginning of 2017. After the breakout, the price went just higher, and now maybe they will use the upper line of the channel up as a support. American dollar to Mexican peso, we said that this bounce is not very promising, and actually there's still a big buying pressure on this instrument. That also can be considered as an ascending triangle. Maybe the horizontal resistance is not so great here in the midterm, but the price is pushing higher. The bounces from that level are smaller and smaller, and as long as we stay above the green line and this pink line, the sentiment is positive. DAX used this, well, first they used this rectangle, then this flag for a bounce, and now they are having more of a channel up formation. Sentiment is still positive, although we are in a risk of a bigger correction here because we are on the lower line of this channel up formation, but that shouldn't be anything dangerous. In case we break this line, the price should aim this support here, created by the upper or the lower line of this technical formation. Australian dollar to New Zealand dollar, no major changes after RBI BA statement. We're in a flag aiming a midterm uptrend line. Bounce here and a breakout of the upper line of the flag should trigger us a buy signal, and a very strong one, right? So price here or even here should trigger us a major buy signal. Don't forget about this black line, because this black line is the upper line of the symmetric triangle formation. So here I would love to see a bounce from this dynamic support, breakout of the upper line of the flag, and here, because breakout of the green line, this green line is not so important as the upper line of the flag, the upper line of the triangle, and the subtrend line, right? So soon we should get some answers here on this instrument. And dollar index, well, was expected. So breakout of the neckline of the inverse head and shoulder formation. The price created a wedge. Wedge is a trend continuation pattern. Wedge resulted with a breakout of the upper line of the formation. Then we use this resistance as a support, and now the price is advancing higher. No surprise with that, but look at that: support, resistance, resistance, and resistance. So we do have resistance ahead of us. Breakout of the green line should confirm the bullish sentiment on dollar index. Euro to Japanese yen is increasing the pressure on this horizontal support labeled with the green color, so it increases the chances for a breakout. We got a false breakout here, false breakout, reaction. Now it's cancelled, right? It's done, it was already fulfilled. Now it's time for another test, and I'm wondering what will be the result, because a proper breakout here can open us a way to this horizontal support, which is 300 pips lower. Cable came back to the sideways trend. I don't think this upper line of the triangle is still relevant, so what I would do would be something like that. We are defending long-term uptrend line, so that bounce should not be a surprise. As long as we are above the green area and above the purple trend line, the sentiment is positive. Still, even despite the fact that we are having a drop now. British pound to Australian dollar. Here what we're having is a comeback above the horizontal support, which actually brings us a buy signal again, and we should aim the upper line of the symmetric triangle here soon. American dollar to Swiss franc. As you can see, this inflation from Switzerland did not change much. We are still locked inside of a rectangle formation, sideways trend. And this rectangle formation, well, rectangles are trend continuation patterns, so we should expect that the price will eventually break the upper line of this formation and aim for the resistance marked with a green color. Okay, American dollar to Polish zloty is fighting for this right shoulder of the inverse head and shoulder formation, and a breakout here should trigger us a buy signal, but that's also a very important resistance, as you can see here, and that can be also a wedge formation, lower line of the wedge, upper line of the wedge. So just getting there should not trigger a buy signal, but breakout of this area should trigger a buy signal, because we can easily get a bounce here, which will be actually a sell signal. So yes, wait for the price on this area for a legitimate trading signal, and this area, by telling you this area, I mean 3.69. Well, Obviously, that's not a bubble. That's not a bubble. S&P 500. That's not a bubble. Business as usual. The prices climbing higher and higher and higher. No bubble at all. Nothing to see here. We have another support, another resistance being broken, another resistance becoming supports. Sentiment is still positive. American dollar to Japanese yen. That is interesting because yesterday the price created a shooting star on a horizontal resistance, and that's actually can be considered as a false breakout. I'm sorry, that can be considered as a false breakout. But the thing is that the price is not declining. Instead of like going sharply down, we are defending here. There's another support here. So even despite the shooting star, I would say that as long as we stay above the blue line, the sentiment can be still considered as a positive. Or maybe we'll use like that. That will explain us this bounce here. But also let's do it like that. So maybe as long as we stay above the green area, the lower green area, the sentiment can be considered as a positive one. So you can see that we have very technical movements here on the market. Everything can, prices respecting major levels. On a few instruments we do have ready trading signals. On a few instruments we have to wait for those trading signals. But the market is very good right now for the technical traders, at least these technical traders using technical analysis. I don't know about oscillators, indicators, because I'm not using them. But trend followers, price action traders are having definitely a good time lately. Thanks very much guys for watching daily analytical report. For more trading occasions, visit us, our Twitter account and our website alpari.news. And now we have a short break, and after that a webinar about price action. So see you there.